and the fact that now we're going into map number 3, God knows how long this is going to last. This could go on for a very, very long time. Now, you know, considering what they said on the desk, Zescht especially was saying he's expecting Navi to have to concede a lot of space on their defense, and maybe Giants are going to be able to pressure them a lot more. That could speed things up if it does work, but we're going to have to actually wait and see if that's going to happen.
If the Vodafone Giants are going to speed anything up. But hang on a minute. You know what I was promised?
What?
I was promised B or A. Lothar, what the hell? This is distinctly middle-based right now. Okay, hang on a minute. Oh, they were just teasing. It was just teasing me. All the way back they go. Oh, it's back and forth. Goodness me. My nerves can't take it. Gio, help me.
Well, next time, just don't listen to Lothar. Your nerves will be a lot calmer.
That's probably fair enough. Have to wait and see for now, though. Looks like they are going to go straight up the mid, all the way to ropes, and play for A. But they did actually end up tracking it all the way in. SSK not controlling Heaven right now. They do have to worry about the Killjoy utility, but Dink's holding on the cross. Look at that discipline from SSK to be able to keep control of the main ramps. And Dinks is moved by the paint shell, blinded out by the paranoia. Fatinho swings, and the Vodafone Giants, with their mid control in the pistol, have the ankles taken out, but they will get to A, and the spike will get planted.
Spike planted.
Finally down. You've just got these last few players of Navi who are trying to feed themselves in. Dino gets a kill, which is nice. It's going to help them reconvene at some point as they're so spread out here. There's the engagement on ramps. Goes the way of Cloud, and they're getting ever closer to actually moving on in. But Fatinho, he doesn't want that to happen.
Last player standing.
Traded off, though. Arch able to find another, and Fatinho is low, 14 HP. They know his location. They know where he is, and the retake is good. Navi come thundering back to A and reclaim what was once theirs. 1-0 to start things off.
Nice start there for Navi. And I honestly, like, if I'm gonna go really deep into the analysis nice and early, John, I would say that the reason it didn't work for Giants is because they went against tradition and pushed mid.
BYB fam.
You know, like, changing up their playstyle so drastically like that has just completely thrown... I don't know if they're gonna be able to mentally recover.
Okay, alright. Okay, fair enough. That's pretty dramatic there, Gio. We'll see if see if that mental boom can be recovered after round 1. See if that momentum can be dissuaded. But for now, looks like they are going to go a little bit back to basics. It's time for B.
First step in recovering.
Yeah, fair enough, but they have bought up into this round. They've spent a little bit of cash. Tried to dash forwards, tried to get some presence here, but healing back on up, getting that ult orbit in as well. Putting in the Cypher camera around the side. Meadow trying to gain some intel. And again, they have got those Spectres, so they are not terrible in these trades. Playing up close, they've got the range of those Sheriffs as well. First trade, it goes both ways, and Dino comes out on top, but Meadow shuts it down, and another found as well. 3 kills against Navi. Meadow, Hoodie, and David P standing tall. Spike moving back towards Garage, though. Maybe just getting picked up and moving onto site across the wall before it fades. They will be safe for now. Cypher camera is going to get taken out. The spike gets planted.
Spike planted.
Once again, these last 2 players of Navi separated, but that wasn't so much of a problem for them last time. Just having a quick check to make sure they're not being flanked. There's a turret going out as well. Using what they can just to ensure that all of these corners are accounted for, and that means that they can both hop down together. Start to encroach. There's the first kill.
Finds a second as well. 1 versus 1, and SSK able to clutch it down as well. Navi 2 versus 3 on the second. Get the retake of Vodafone Giants. It felt like that was theirs, but instead they turn around and just chuck it to the wayside. It's going to be 2-0 with Vodafone Giants investing into that second round. We've seen this story before.
And so far, Navi are not necessarily falling into that prediction that they had on the desk about them conceding loads of space, but we're also not far enough into the game yet to have those full buys, to have the full weaponry, the full utility available that would kind of, I suppose, beef up Giants enough for them to do a kind of full force attack. So we'll have to wait a round or 2 for that to come through, but as it stands, Navi have had a decent go at it so far.
Dino at the back of B with the Judge. If they try and push there, they might have another thing coming. A spread baseline of fire right now to operate from for the Vodafone Giants. You can see they've left the spike down towards mid, down towards Ramen. B site getting peeked, but Dino's there with the Judge, and there's no way you get it past that. 2 kills on the trot. Lickety split, no trouble. Arch swings out on top of the wall as well and finds Ambi. There's another player there waiting, and David P able to find the kill, but at the cost of a little bit of health. Doesn't have control of the spike. Instead, sends Meadow back to try and wrest that one into their hands. 2 players alive, and versus 4. Sneak up to A, but the Killjoy util just too strong.
Yeah, and with Dinks just around the corner, that position is going to be known, and this is why you're actually seeing Cloud start to push up a little bit, because Giants have no choice but to really go this way. There's the first kill, there's the second. That's all it took for Navi to put their 3rd round on the board. Looking really clean so far, to be totally honest.
Very impressive stuff coming through for Navi. They're able to get these coordinated retakes when they have to. I mean, 2 of their rounds, remember, those have been retakes. And this is, I think, the first round where I think we're going to have to see a full save coming through from the Vodafone Giants, if I'm not mistaken. They invested into a rifle this round. They bought a Vandal. They bought a couple of pistols and a Spectre or 2. And now they're just down to that Sheriff buy. So they are right scraping the bottom of the barrel. Next round should be the first rifle, but Dino might be able to convert on a cheeky little Judge play.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm really happy for him, because if you think back to when he was playing the Judge on Ascent, he didn't ever really get to use it. Now he actually... Oh, no.
Shadows traveling.
I spoke too soon.
He's not even going to be able to squeeze off a shot there, and David P's going to pick up the spoils. Spike in his control as well. They move up mid and move straight towards the back of B Heaven. Trying to control towards Spawn. The sprays from Dinks as he spots out the player. They are going to get swelled upon. Actually moving the spike towards Spawn. That's... Okay, David P has taken the spike, and it looks like they're going to have to commit towards A. Not too sure about that one. Cloud is going to go down as Coutinho can't quite hold there with the pistol. The Sheriff not quite strong enough. Meadow as well on the front of A, not having the best of times. They still left the spike in Defender Spawn. Ambi finds another, though, and again, they find themselves in the numbers advantage with 38 seconds.
Well, actually, the Lambot didn't go off, and now Dinks versus Meadow here. It goes the way of Dinks. Somewhat scrappy fight over ropes there. 2 versus 2. Now Navi, they've got to prove how their retake's going to be here. So far, it's starting off pretty good.
3 for Ambi on the round. Tailwind away. Dinks is low. It's dangerous already. 4 on the round. And Ambi able to get it done. A win on the cards for Vodafone Giants. And on a thrifty round as well. They only bought Sheriffs into it. And they were able to make it work with some cheeky picks. Open it up towards Dino in B Heaven. And from there, it felt unstoppable.
His SSK is sat at the bottom of the leaderboard for Navi at the moment. I know we're still in the early days, but still not necessarily what you expect.
If you haven't got 10 kills by round 5, Gio doesn't even want to talk to you.
I know. I only talk to the best. But John's the exception.
Oh, nearly stuck in there with a pre-claiming the compliment. I knew you were going to do something like that. Had to try and turn it around, but no, I've been defeated, thwarted at every turn. Drat.
All right, I'm gonna overlook the fact that you said
Drat is.
No,
I said it because I was like, I'm being the villain, right? Like that's the whole thing.
That's what villains say. Yeah, I heard the Joker oftentimes went, "Oh, drat," whenever Batman defeated him.
I mean, you obviously haven't read that much Batman if you think that that's a joke.
Anyway, all of Vodafone Giants here working together to push up towards A. There's the teleport, but immediately he's going to be returning back to the rest of the team. He's going to hand over some of that information, and out comes the Gravwell as well as the Nebula to hold them back.
Just slowing it down yet again. They try and go A. It's not going to work. Instead they go through sewers, and again, might be a little bit of a mid-sneak. Maybe have to go a little bit louder. They've got the Sage to worry about. Arch gets spotted out in ropes, and Hoodie able to deliver the mail. They are going to take control, but instead they swing out and go towards the vents. Drop down. A site on the cards now. Killjoy utilities there, and there's the neural theft as well. They'll know where the defense is. They can make their plan. Oh, a beautiful wall to stop Cloud from getting anything done. Finds it. Nonetheless, Abby goes down to it. It's a 2-for-2 trade. There's not a lot of time left. The spike yet to be planted. 6 seconds, and they finally are going to start that plant sequence going on through. 2 players left on the retake. No idea how neither player spotted on that first flick. David P gets the better end of it. Cloud turns the corner into the dark cover and fades away. Tries to get out with this operator. Playing around the Cosmic Divide, and we'll be able to find the kill onto David P.
I mean, yeah, nice to get an exit frag. Not going to be chasing any of the others. I was very surprised to see Cloud actually get the showstopper off there. But it was a really nice rotation that was done by Giants, to be honest. You know, the way they came back up through mid and backed off a little bit, but decided to return back to A. You know, the only thing that was really deterring them from making that push in through A heaven was an alarm bot. And when you've got your comrades by your side, you don't really need to worry about something like an alarm bot, especially if they're going to be investing the utility like the barrier orb to hold back the defenders in those necessary places. They had a lot of room that they could play with, and it was a very nice, calling done from Giants, which I assume came from our wonderful David P, as he does a lot of their IGLing. So, good job, Dave. Id P, in case you don't go by Dave.
Oh no. Well, you heard it here first. Geo thinks alarm bot is just rubbish.
No!
That's what she said. I heard it. You heard it, chat. Let's get it clipped, get it shipped. Make sure no one ever forgets it. Alarm bot, not even worth it. Why even playing Killjoy, to be honest? Trying to play around this cyber cage, though, could be tricky. Cloud not able to land the shot with the operator into a field of 4 and not there. Frenzy around the side, though, as Dink swings. 2 in response, though. They open up onto the site. Ambi getting healed on up by the Sage as the spike makes its way to A. Retake potential. There is a res, but with 3 players and only pistols, it's difficult.
Look at this really big lurk that David P is going on as well, because they know that these defenders are going to be up towards screens. They're going to be up in spawn. If he can come and sandwich them from behind, especially when they've got this wall to deal with as well. I mean, this could be a very effective pincer technique here. Even if he just gets one, but he doesn't even need to. It's Hoodie who clears them all up. Vodafone Giants put their 3rd round on the board to even things out.
Fair enough. They sweep the pistols under the rug. They shrug off the solo kill they did receive. Send it out their way. And Navi, they started off strong, but Vodafone Giants answer back in kind, and they're going to be able to bring it back even. 3-3 here. Remember the first halves, they've gone 6-6 both times so far in this series.
These 2 teams really they've flirted with this whole evening things out kind of deal. Kind of crazy how that be. All right, let's see what's going on here. So they've actually got a lot more, they being Navi, have a lot more kind of manpower over to try and prevent any rotation that could be made in through vents. That is a space that Giants have taken control of quite considerably at times, but the weakness here is that they can just walk straight in onto A. There's not much to stop them. Now, eventually, Navi are going to recognize this, but it's certainly not going to be before the spike actually gets planted.
Moving in, full 5. I mean, it's a retake. They're playing on retake servers apparently. Trying to go in towards the spike, get this one done, but no. I mean, you still got to worry about David P on that flank. Coming in for the retake though, they're going to load it up with the lockdown. Won't isolate all of the site though. They have to be worried about that. There's the showstopper to try and speed things up, but Meadow finds 2 for Vodafone Giants. With the retake looking to try and put pressure on. Both players can sit at the back of the site, but Fadinho's holding strong. Arch trades, and Arch gets 2 as well. Breaks the trap wire. Dino goes down to Meadow in the meantime, and Arch now last standing. David P's flank finally comes to bear, and despite the lockdown, it's going to be another round going through for the Vodafone Giants.
Yeah, that was, I suppose, a bit of an oversight, you could say, by Navi, and totally understand why they made the adaptation that they did, with Giants actually looking more comfortable with making those mid pushes and, working together in that for the last few rounds. It makes total sense that Navi would kind of shift their resources to respond to that. But the problem that they then have is that they didn't have any way of knowing what was going on in the A site until it was too late. The turret had actually been used in A heaven where the alarm bot previously had been. So the turret couldn't have spotted them out. Though the alarm bot was up by screens, well, I mean, none of the players from Giants had to go near screens given that the push that they made. So really, they were just free to waltz in. So you can already see Navi have changed where they're placing the turret. And we'll see whether you know, use other utility of theirs.
Yeah, it kind of felt like they were trying to fall back on the lockdown, though, right? Like they were going to use that as their main tool to retake. I mean, it is a very powerful tool, but they didn't cover the entire site. They allowed 2 players just to sit there, go unpunished, and weren't able to push through and actually get that covering. And I have to give credit to Meadow on that one, I think. Playing from those ramps, brutal hold from that side of things, and wasn't in the lockdown, had some great lines of sight to cover and stop the crosses coming in. But yeah, I feel like you're right. They moved some of that utility, they changed it up a little bit, and they tried to rely on that lockdown all too much.
Real shame there for Navi. Now, they are going to be weaker here because they're not buying up much, but that also means they haven't bought into all of the utility they could. Trade early, but there's the res coming in from Giants is going to help build them up. The gravity well's not quite going to catch out Ambi as he dashes out.
Falling back just a little bit. 1-for-1 with the res gives the advantage to the Vodafone Giants. And they invest the ult nonetheless. Arch does have the res available as well, so if they can get back mid-control, potential to bring it back into their favor. But on a strung-together buy, do you want to invest that sort of an ultimate? Trying to check those angles. Moving slow, but up towards B they go. Dino first to face. Needs to get the picks here and won't be able to get the shots. A lot of damage sent out their way as well. Turns the corner and Cloud nails the shot over to David P. Another kill, and that's the spike scene as well. To trigger the push, but Meadow's there waiting. Vigilant over on A. And now the rotate can come full on through. You've got Ambi sentineled in mid. And we'll turn the corner, take down Arch. And look at this fast rotate coming through from Vodafone Giants. Heads up, good picks from Meadow.
Yeah, it was the perfect way of enabling that rotate to be made very swiftly through, especially as the spike was on the other side of the map to the space that had been found by Giants. Now they can pretty comfortably get the spike down. There we go, finally done. And once again, if you're Navi, just these 2 players remaining, you're exceptionally limited for your options, especially now that barrier orb has gone up. I mean, what do you do here? Are you going to back out? You're going to try and go in for the kills?
Meadow playing towards the back of sight, kind of trying to keep control of Heaven. They've got quite a lot of it, to be fair. Only 1 player really going for it. But Cloud already on a triple kill on the round. I mean, fair enough. He's had some impact. Dino instead just saving the Vandal that he was able to snaffle away in the midst of it all. But Vodafone Giants putting themselves up to 5 at the end of this round.
Yeah, not quite as big a deal to lose the Marshal as it would have been had Dino lost the Vandal in that scenario. But again, Giants with, I mean, what I praised them for earlier, just really effective rotations. The way that they're actually providing support for the remainder of their team to do that. In this case, it was because of Ambi and his position in mid.
Turret out.
It was nice as well because, you know, they could have chosen to use utility, like a barrier orb, but instead they saved that to use later to prevent a retake being available to Navi. So, just kind of good resource management, I suppose you could put it as. Navi have been able to buy up here. Should actually be able to defend these sites a little bit better as it was a bit weaker on that last round.
Just a little bit. I mean, back up to the rifles now, though. No operators going to be in play, no snipers on either side. Not going to invest into it, but again, mid-presence being felt by Vodafone Giants. And I mean, they spoke on the desk about, you know, this A or B strategy, and it seems like Vodafone Giants have changed that, right? They've taken presence in mid quite a few times now, and even on this rifle round, it's their main strategy. Move up, take control of vents.
Have Navi made it difficult for them to do that, though? The answer, in my opinion, is no. Very rarely have Navi had someone present in vents. There hasn't been a direct threat onto mid at really any point.
Quite, but that's a pretty direct threat to the gut of Ambi. The shots land, Arch. Able to find the first pick. Fatinho now pushing up in main.
30 seconds.
Trying to play in the stars. Spray downs come through, and Arch gets a second as well. Fast out with a blast pack. Dino gets one. Hoodie again. Continuing to rain down. Navi looking at answer back here. 20 seconds on the clock. The spike down over in B Heaven. And there's really nothing doing here for Vodafone Giants. They're trying to move through, but they're only going to be able to get a couple kills if that. Cloud finds yet another headshot in the game. And David P drops the dark cover, trying to hold on to the gun. Gets the spray at range, but it's traded off. SSK closes down the round, and Navi pick up a fourth.
Well, that's great for them, given that they actually fully invested in that last round, so they're not going to be losing too much economically. Instead, can build off of that, rather than falling from an expensive buy. So it's a nice spot for them to be in, considering. And if you're Giants, you can just buy up what you need, because you do have the money for it. Now, having a look at these ultimates that are available, so, I mean, you have both of your duelists on Navi have got your ultimates, and you have a res too. So if any round is you're gonna get aggressive for you, this would probably be it.
Moving on up, Ambi leads the charge with the last packs at his back as well from the teammate. Ambi with the knives out, swings. Able to land it. Get rid of that Killjoy util as well. Try and move straight on through it. And there goes the neural theft. They'll know where the defense is, and they can start to ping on through. Move on to the fights. Try and gather those rotates, and look at that. That's exactly what they'll do. David P moves in and caught with a knife out. Cloud will fall. It's going to rain on his parade as Dino tries to swing the same corner and meets the same fate. Meadow able to land those headshots. Ambi with the knives has one more, but it gets reset and lands yet another. Triple kill on the round. The right click to seal the deal. Add insult to injury. Beautiful stuff from the knives of Ambi.
I mean, Ambi just showed the hell up there, because it's not even just those last couple of kills he got. That opening kill onto SSK was directly after the Empress had been popped. So what I said at the beginning of the round about that probably being what Navi would want to lean into, they thought the same thing, but they were just shut down immediately. So their plan got taken away from them, and it was all because of Ambi, and then just being able to clean up with the rest of them at the end there. A really good round from him. And taking off that, you know, valuable ultimate, that option for Navi, it stings.
Talking of options, though, that's a showstopper in the back pocket for Cloud. As well as the res, and pretty close to the Cosmic Divide. The ult tempo in favor of Navi, but we're so close to the half that it might not matter. Every game so far in this series, Gio, it's been 6-6. So the data doesn't lie. We might be going for a Navi round here. See if they can hold out, because it looks like A Heaven again under threat. They've moved the Killjoy. They've tried to play her somewhere else, but this time around, they're going to be caught lacking. Arch, though, sprays down Fatinho, and a big tool in that paint shell going to be denied there. Meadow trades it off. SSK is going to fall. And out comes the showstopper on the defense. Cloud trying to stymie the flow of players towards the site, but the spike already getting invested. Traded off, 1-for-1. Ambi gets another, and David P doubles up towards the spawn. And now it's just Cloud who gets taken apart. Vodafone Giants break the curse, and we're going 7 in the first half.
Last round.
It's a very interesting assault there, actually, onto the spawn through screens, because when you had those attackers who filtered out and they went back down into elbow, it kind of draws the defenders with them. So, you know, you have Cloud going through with the showstopper, and he did get the kill onto Meadow, but they don't realize that they've still got David P behind them, and that's not the first time he's done that. We mentioned it a few rounds ago when he came up from behind to try and trap them. It actually worked this time because Hoodie wasn't there to get a 3K. So
David P, king of the ratty plays.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a real pincer technique there from Giants. It totally paved off.
David P lurking again. Goodness me. Cloud pinned behind the Cloud Burst. And Ambi will be able to get the best of him. Finds the first frag, the opener. Dino deadly with the judge. In these close range scenarios, Arch as well to back him up. There's the Cypher camera. Oh, they want to see an ankle. They want to see a toe. They're not stepping out. Not one jot. Trading back and forth again. Hoodie checks the angle, but this time Dino's ready and waiting. Drops back in. There's a teammate at his back as well. 32 HP as Meadow finds 1, 2. Now lines up for the last. SSK, last standing for the defense. Navi on their last legs in this round and in this half as well. It's 8-4. Vodafone Giants go strong out of the first half.
They are finally
Switching
breaking
sides.
tradition. Not having a 6-6 half. What is this? Unprecedented scenes.
I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, oh, I know. It's crazy. And the thing is, as well, we can't forget what this match means, what this specific map means. This is, of course, the final map of this series.
Remaining.
Both of the maps before ended up being quite a tug of war, and whoever loses this series is out. They're not going to Berlin, definitely. So this is a big, big half for these two teams. Navi, who are a relatively new team, who are looking to make their mark in the EMEA scene and hopefully internationally and beyond. And then Giants, who are this self-proclaimed gang of misfits, the underdogs of the region, who've really impressed of late.
That's pretty impressive there. SSK able to get 1-2 as well. Traded off, though, as Coutinho chimes in with the paint shell and the frenzy. Lights him up. Sends him back. Sends him packing. Dino low on HP. Dinks as well. Not really close by enough. As the spike did get spotted. Will have been seen there in mid. They can just fall back. They don't want to try and wrest control. They don't want to try and keep it in their possession. They want to allow Navi to run down the clock and play for these spoiler plays. David P going on his own. Why not? It's happened before. It's going to happen again.
Well, these two players from Navi are sticking pretty close by together. This is the first kill from Dinks. Nice one. Want to look...
Coutinho falling back, though. With the frenzy at range, I mean, you're not going to be able to get too much done. You're really waiting for David P to go for the post-plant
Spike
retake,
planted.
right?
Yeah, I mean, with that spike down, you've got a little bit of utility for both of these two defending players, but just 4 HP if you're Coutinho.
One enemy remaining.
Pretty low, though.
Last
David
player
P
standing.
from up on top will be able to find one. Dinks shuts it down with a triple kill. 5 and 8. Navi take the pistol.
Pretty important round for them to put on the board, just given that they are, of course, on the back foot at this point and need to be making up for that deficit. But again, Navi winning
One
pistols
enemy
has
remaining.
certainly been
Last player
no
standing.
abnormality in this series so far. You can tell the way that they actually come in for that, you know, when they were coming into the B site. They've been pretty good at doing their due diligence when they actually try to aggress, especially if they're lacking in information. That's something that Navi have done pretty well so far.
They need to continue, though, and they need to continue strong. They're at a deficit right now. 5 rounds for Vodafone Giants to try and see themselves into the next round in this lower bracket. Crucial to stay alive in the tournament, but Navi hot on their heels. And starting off with the pistols, a good way to go. First time we haven't seen a force into round 2, though. Seems to have been the way it's gone most of the time, but out they go with the wall. Trying to be broken early. Cloud gets the spray down through the gap that's created. Coutinho falls. So no paint shell to be spoken of for the rest of it. David P swings, though, on the blind target. Gets one, and Ambi trades again. 3 versus 3 now as more shots echo with the Sheriffs. And once more, we go 1 for 1. But overall, Navi come out on top of the trades. Hoodie now last standing. I don't think they know that he's managed to sneak his way all the way around here, covering the rest of the site, and they've got to be worried. SSK, though, covering towards the garage, is going to double cover towards the flank as well. And like it or not, he gets the kill. Triple on the round, and Navi up to 6.
Yeah, I mean, difficult one at the end there, pretty much just by the nature of mathematics. If you're the guy holding the angle, you have an advantage there, just because you're probably going to see a shoulder before the peeker sees you. Pretty tried, though. Navi getting closer to evening things out. See what it is they go for here. Giants are actually have most of a real buy. Got a Spectre in there.
Whoa, okay, Cloud wasting no time in the round going down as Coutinho lines them up. David P with one as well. Only SSK able to answer. In the meantime, goodness me, I think that was protection from the robot there. Going to be good as Ambi finds SSK. Dino last to go in and will go down last as well. 9 rounds now found for the Vodafone Giants as they answer back in round number 3 of the half.
Very aggressive attempt there from Navi, which almost seems uncharacteristic when you think back to the game that we had on Ascent, where everything was so... Oh, it was at a standstill the whole time, incredibly slow. Meanwhile, these engagements seem to be not quite so. Didn't work out, though, for Navi. Once again, find themselves on the back foot. They've got the Empress again here, although I'd be very surprised to see them use it in this round, given that they're going for a full eco.
And this, remember, Gio, this qualification spot is all the more important for both Giants and Navi, because at the moment, in terms of circuit points, they're both sat on 30 right now. Minimum accrued, fair enough. If they get further, they'll get a couple more, but they need more than that if they want to be a team that's going to qualify for the Masters. So it's not only a crucial half to qualify for Berlin, but it's going to be to qualify for the VALORANT that's going on in the rest of the year as well. A very, very important match.
Champions, baby. Everyone wants to be there. Now, there's a nice kill from Ambi. I was going to say Giants have put more kind of physical effort into cutting off mid, and it's just allowing them to scoop up these kills. Navi having to expend more utility to push on up, hence the paint shells, but it still doesn't work for them.
Against the pistol, they're clearing it out. They're controlling the mid, and it's working for them. Navi gonna have to go down and rethink their strategy. I wouldn't be too surprised to see attack pause coming out after this, I'll be honest, Gio. It feels like now's the time for Navi. They want to stay alive here. 10-6 on the half, and Vodafone Giants now 3 rounds away from seeing themselves further into these lower brackets. No
So far, no tack balls, yeah.
I think they've got something.
Let's see if their suspicions are correct. I mean, what do they have? Yeah, they've still got the Empress. They're very close, of course, to the Showstopper. What we got on the other side? Blades from the shadows. Well, I guess we'll find out. You can see actually where they've placed those stars over by vents and by mail rooms. They want to try and cut off the lines of sight that can be held by those players of Giants, who did do a pretty effective job at denying mid entirely to Navi. And that was something that when Navi were on the defense themselves, they really struggled to do. They weren't investing utility into that space, and they very rarely had physical presence anywhere that could kind of hold crossfires or hold lines of sight to prevent Giants from taking it. So it's something that I think Navi have run into here, where one of these lanes that was available to their opponent is suddenly not so much to them.
Shutting that down could be pretty crucial, right?
Yeah, it's quite hard.
I mean, you've got to forge a new path at that point, trying to figure out where you can find these openings. Because for Navi, I mean, their style has been slow, methodical approach, and right now the Vodafone Giants, they aren't letting that sort of thing fly. They're controlling mid. They're doing very well on that front, and they're not letting them go bull rush into these sites as well. So what do you do in these scenarios? I feel like you have to maybe play a little bit more for mid controllers. That seems to be where, on their attacking side, Vodafone Giants had a little bit more strength.
Well, I mean, it's a hard thing as well, because you have to consider the fact, and we did see it in that last round, that in order to break through mid, Navi are having to use a lot more utility. So things like the paint shells, which we saw come out. And what that means is you don't have those available to you later on in the round. So once you do actually finally break in through mid, and let's say you get onto one of the sites and you can plant the spike down, as soon as that post-plant situation comes out and you want to be holding the defenders back, what have you got to do it with? So that's one of the really effective things that happens as as a direct result of this type of play from Giants, is not only do you hold the attackers back, but you force them to use all of the resources that they would need later on.
An early wall coming across the mid for Hoodie, and maybe I think Navi are gonna try and put some presence there, but they're sent back, the paint shell, to see them away. And this is the resources being invested, but by Vodafone Giants, to just send them away from mid. And they back off with not really too much competition. And instead, they've just got to try and leave a lurk to A and go for B.
they're going to be watched.
Vision.
You see that utility
camera.
place right there. Yeah, the camera is literally on top of them.
And the wall is straight across. They're going to try and swing early, but David P has an excellent angle for this. Not to mention the one-way cyber cage. And Navi are just getting bullied around the map here. It feels like this feels like they're moving pretty scared. There's checking in with intel towards garage as well. They know there's only one player, and they're going to try and leave the spike there. They're splitting up. They're going to try and flank towards heaven, I believe, and move up. Late control of mid. That's what they were vying for. Falling back, getting some intel. They saw the early wall and they played it like that. An unfortunate blast pack for Cloud means that he slowed down a little bit, but Hoodie's in danger. Needs to be worried. David P around the side as Navi lose a player, but two are answered back and it's traded evenly across it. Meadow goes low and can't quite find that frag. 2 players left now standing for the Vodafone Giants, and Navi, a crucial round to find. Can't quite close it just now, but the spike getting planted needs to be delayed. Will come out with the knives. Swinging is going to get planted. Goes up on high. Swings for it, but can't quite get the kill. Dino able to shut it down, and Navi find a crucial round for their tournament lives.
I'll be totally honest, I was worried for a little bit there. When the satchel didn't work properly, they had a little bit of a slip up with that. You know, I got a bit concerned that maybe Giants would be able to aggress and really punish that, but that wasn't the case. They still managed to fire in the showstopper. They got a couple of really valuable kills off the back of that, and that gave them so much space on the site that they could use to flood in. So even though there was then an avenue up in heaven that those defenders could come in from, already Navi had pretty good power positions to deal with that.
Early wall again. Maybe looking to keep some util in the back pocket for B Heaven next time if this is going to be the route for Navi. Look for the challenge, and Abby nails it. Beautiful start to the round for Vodafone Giants to take the game back into their control. As Cloud moves on up, tries to play aggressive. They're playing with 4, but if they move together, they can have a numbers advantage for a time. That's what they got to leverage. Moving in through vents. There's a trap wire they need to worry about higher on up. Very difficult to deal with this one. If you go up fast, you just get caught by it.
Shadows traveling.
I have the spike.
Dark cover, and once again, we're seeing this classic David P lurk. Although, actually, he's going to be potentially going back, and I wonder if that's partly because, you know, you can see where Cloud is right now.
You should run.
And there's a lot of openness over towards A, but... Alright, the lockdown's going to be put down over in garage. It's not going to stop David P from getting it from behind. He can't quite shut down the lockdown, though.
Not quite, and that's going to allow the B Heaven push to come through from the Spike carrier. The Raze and the Sage, but it's going to get spotted out in the crossfire. Spike now in control of the defense. 2 players left standing and only 1 for Navi. 14 seconds on the clock. It's a tall order, and there comes the showstopper to put an end to proceedings. Navi go down, and Vodafone Giants 11-7. They take the game back to their tempo. So close now to knocking Navi out.
Oh my god, this is where it actually starts to feel real. Navi are on the precipice of having their Berlin dreams ended right here. Giants, they're so close. I mean, you look at Navi, you look at what they're choosing to bring here. I mean, you know, we've got not a very substantial buy. They have to be careful with where they're spending their money.
I mean, it's kind of now or never. They have a couple of people who can buy rifles, a Spectre as well, and what can they do here? What are they going to try and get done? Taking mid control, it worked for them once. They weren't able to get the post plant for the second time around after Vodafone Giants regrouped. And now you've got a res to face off into. There's the Cosmic Divide at your back, but you really need the guns in this round. The ults might come online in a round or maybe 2 if you're lucky. It's going to be hard. David P up to face, goes for the spray, and at range, Arch goes down, gets away, 36 HP, but the damage is done. Arch no longer in proceedings.
Things is going to have to be careful as well, because if he pushes up too much here, then Ambi holding the operator is going to be a problem. Meanwhile, SSK trying to look around into Mel. There's that shot from Ambi that I was worried about. Defenders have really firm control here of both sites. They have to invest the Cosmic Divide, the attackers, to try and hold back some scrap of defense that they can. And even though they get one kill, there's another for SSK, but they keep being traded.
Patino just answering from heaven, trying to play around this Cosmic Divide as well. Finally swings out, Cloud gets it. Ambi with the operator against Cloud, the last standing for Navi. They're down and out in terms of money. They're going to be destitute after this one. Ambi around the corner, turns out the pistol, and Ambi wins the duel. It's 12-7 for Vodafone Giants, and they are on the precipice here. Over on split, on match point to knock Navi out.
It has been a long series so far. This has been a long road to try and figure out who it is that's going to be going forward, and it could be answered in this next round. Navi, the pressure is so much on their shoulders. But I can't help but feel things are working against them. They can't even afford a full buy. They have no ultimates. They're going up against an op. They're going up against rifles. They're going up against a res.
As soon as one of them goes down as well, if Meadow's anywhere nearby, they can get the beat on it. A little bit less impactful on the attack than it is on the defense, but still, so you need to be worried about control of the mid continuing to be taken here. Navi don't want to give anything over. A site now on the menu. Ambi held it down last time. When the chips are down, will he be able to do it again? Long range operator covering the cross. And what do you have? You have the Lear to try and guard it. You have the Star as well. Not really going to be able to do too much. Off goes the blast pack and will send the rays over the top now. The blind comes through. The sprays are there, trying to control the opening. Cloud nails the headshot, but Vitinho starts to spray into the paint shell. Blast pack to stay alive, and it's 1 for 1 so far on a shoddy buy. That's good news for Navi. They're able to bring things back a little bit, but what more can they do? Ambi needs to hit the shot, and he does. Sprays are good, though, for Navi. 2 kills go down, and they start to get the plant in. 2 ultimates are available. The res for Hoodie as well, and they will invest it here. Bring back David P. Bring back the Rat King himself and see what he can rise from underneath. They will start to move on through, control all of the players towards the back of site, corral them in. As a slow can come on through. Now for the retake phase. They pick up a Spectre. They look for the drop. There's not a lot of time, Geo. In comes the showstopper as Navi try and hold on to it. They want to peek out towards screen, slow things down just a little bit, but it's not going to find the damage. Hoodie gets 1. They mount up for more, but the rest is invested as well as Cloud gets the spray. Finds 4 on the round. It could be an ace to close this down, but Meadow going to be the last to face, and there's no time left in the day. Out wide, it's Dino, and he's looking for more. Will fall down to the spike, but it's not going to matter. Navi stay alive in the 11th hour.
Oh my god, I feel like I held my breath for that entire round. Good lord. A res being used on both sides. The showstopper invested from Navi. Oh, I mean, ultimately, really time won. The clock really won in that round. And that was so nerve-wracking as well because Navi, they didn't have anything to prevent any kind of defensive push coming in from screens. That was just so scary. Ambi straight up taken out. First blood in this round. That's a big loss as well.
Vodafone Giants cannot let this stumble get to them. They need to keep it together here. Stay strong, stay vigilant, because it's picks like that that will lose you games. And with Ambi going down, that's not the best start. Didn't have the knives online. But Vitinho picks up the operator. They can trade the gun back potentially over towards Hoodie, but it's so far away. David P continuing to rotate through the map, but it's slow.
Again, I guess Navi are going for this very similar approach. Vitinho narrowly misses that shot. He's going to change his position.
Spike down A.
Oh,
my
huge.
God.
Vitinho finds 2. SSK swings to get the trade, and the spike will go down, but the job has been done. 2 players fall, and it's even Stevens. No res is available. They were both used last time. David P has got the ult. Can try and gather some intel on positions. But they might try and move as a wrecking ball. They move down the ramps. 2 players trying to swing. Only a sheriff in the hands of Hoodie. Cloud playing close, gets spotted and a headshot lands. Beautiful start for Vodafone Giants, and they leave them with 1. Dino goes down, and it's Meadow to close it out. It's Navi taking a tumble, and the Vodafone Giants come back for the retake. It's the game, it's the match, and it's Navi getting